Hi, everyone. I'm Becky McGregor, your APS Employee Wellness Coordinator, and today we have Laura Pavone from ASIFlex on the phone. She's going to explain to you your ASIFlex, your flexible spending account and dependent care spending account information. It's a benefit that we offer through APS Benefits. And so, Laura, I'm just going to turn off and let you take it away.
All right. Thank you for that, Becky. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone, to the Albuquerque Public Schools Flexible Spending Accounts for the 2026 plan year. So, what are FSAs? It's a flexible spending account, which is a year-to-year account that you can set aside pre-tax dollars to pay for the calendar year's expected expenses. You may be enrolled in any health insurance plan, and APS offers two accounts. The General Purpose Healthcare FSA you can use to pay for deductibles, copays, office visits, medical, dental, vision expenses, as well as over-the-counter items. And Dependent Care FSA, which is used to pay for daycare, after-school care, preschool, and nursery school. So, how does it work? It's actually pretty easy. Just estimate the expenses that you expect to incur during the plan year, make pre-tax contributions each payday to your FSA, incur eligible expenses during the plan year, use your ASIFlex debit card to pay for healthcare expenses, or you can submit a claim. And you can use the ASIFlex debit card to pay the provider directly, or if you submit a claim, you can be reimbursed to your bank account with direct deposit set up. There are some things that you need to know that are IRS rules. You must enroll every year with a new election, spend all funds during the calendar year, including the grace period. Expenses must be incurred during your period of coverage or plan year. You do not have to be covered under employer health insurance. You can use it to pay expenses for yourself, your spouse, and any dependent children. Your election remains in effect for the plan year unless you experience a qualified status change, such as marriage, divorce, adoption, birth, things like that. You can access the healthcare FSA funds anytime during the year. Funds remaining at the end of the year are forfeited, which is the IRS rule, use it or lose it. Except for the grace period, APS gives you an additional 2.5 months, which is through March 15th, to use the funds. So, how to avoid forfeitures, the IRS use it or lose it rule. It's also easy. Just make sure to plan for predictable and recurring expenses that you know you will have during the year. You can review prior year expenses as a guide. Be conservative. You can use our online tools on our website, www.asiflex.com, such as the expense estimator, eligible expense listing. You can use FSAstore.com as a resource for over-the-counter products. And remember, you have an additional 2.5 months to spend the funds. So looking at healthcare expenses. The General Purpose Healthcare FSA, you must enroll for a minimum of $48 up to a maximum of $3,050, and you can use it to cover prescriptions and office visit copays, deductibles, x-rays, lab, hospital, mileage to and from your healthcare providers. Over-the-counter items such as Band-Aids, sunscreen, braces like wrist brace, knee brace, ankle brace, first aid supplies, pill holders, blood pressure monitors, thermometers, diabetic supplies, menstrual care, drugs and medicines, vision exams, eyeglasses, prescription sunglasses, contact lenses and solutions, reading glasses, and LASIK surgery. For dental, exams, x-rays, fillings, orthodontia, crowns, bridges, dentures and adhesives, occlusal guards and implants. And then hearing exams, hearing aids, and batteries are also all eligible. And there's lots more that's eligible. These are some over-the-counter healthcare products that do not require a prescription. So again, the athletic braces and supports, baby monitors, thermometers and nasal aspirators, blood pressure monitors, aspirin and baby aspirin, cough drops and throat spray, diaper rash cream. There's lots of things that are eligible. Some ineligible expenses include services not yet provided, pretreatment estimates, cosmetic treatments or medications, general health and well-being, illegal operations, expenses paid by insurance, diapers and maternity clothes, insurance premiums, dancing and swimming lessons, holistic, natural remedies and vitamins, and warranties. So then looking at the dependent care expenses, the dependent care, you can enroll for a minimum of $48 up to a maximum of $5,000. Just note that it would be $2,500 if you're married and filing separate income tax returns. And you can use the dependent care FSA for babysitting while you work, preschool or nursery school for young children, before school and after school care, day camps for children under the age of 13, or for a child age 13 and older or adult if they are incapable of self-care. Some ineligible dependent care expenses include services not provided yet, educational or tuition expenses, kindergarten or higher education, overnight camp expenses, services provided while you are on vacation, holidays, or leave of absence. In divorce situations, only expenses incurred by the custodial parent are eligible. Expenses in excess of $5,000 per family per calendar year. So the claim filing and processing. Claims are processed within 1 to 3 business days. Reimbursements can be made to your bank account. Email and or text alert is sent when payment is made. And the IRS required claim substantiation is to certify the expenses are eligible and that you have not been reimbursed and will not seek reimbursement under any other source, and provide third-party documentation to substantiate the expenses you incurred. With multiple claim filing options, we have something for everyone. So we have our mobile app where you can snap a picture or screenshot of the documentation and submit that right there from the app from your smartphone or tablet. Online, you can scan an image of the documentation and submit that. The ASIFlex debit card, you can use that to pay your healthcare provider at point of service or sale. Just be sure to hang on to the documentation so you can submit it upon request. The FSA store cardless pay, you just sign into your ASIFlex account, shop the FSA store, and then no credit or debit card is needed. ASIFlex will pay the FSA store from your account. Dependent care, you can use the recurring direct pay. You can sign up online to set up recurring payments to your daycare provider. Automatic reimbursement is also for dependent care, so you can complete a claim form to request automatic reimbursements for dependent care. We also have toll-free fax and USPS mail. When submitting claims and documentation for the debit card, the documentation must include the following: who, for whom the service or supply is provided; what would be a description of the service or supply; where is the name and address of the provider of service or supplier; when would be the date of service, which is the date the service was provided, regardless of when billed or paid; and then the dollar amount, which would be how much you owe. So if the type of expense is covered by medical, dental, or vision insurance, the insurance payer explanation of benefits, or EOB, or an itemized statement is usually the best documentation. If it's not covered by insurance, the itemized statement would still work. Prescriptions, you can use the pharmacy receipt, print out from the pharmacy, itemized mail order receipt, things like that. And for over-the-counter products, you can just use the merchant receipt. So as long as it's itemized, that would also be fine. Please note, do not submit credit card receipts, paid on account or balance forward statements, canceled checks, or pretreatment estimates. To sign up for online and app access, please sign up at asiflex.com first. Please note, if you use your cell phone to sign up, like your web browser on your cell phone, the username is case sensitive. So if it auto capitalizes the first letter, you will always need to make sure that that's case sensitive when you go to log in. Once you are logged in, you can use our ASIFlex mobile app. It's free. We do have a video tutorial on our website. You can use it on a smartphone or tablet. Snap a picture of documentation, submit it right there from the pharmacy or doctor's office, and check your balance in secure messages 24/7. Some things about the ASIFlex debit card. The IRS regulations governs the use of the card, which means you'll need to provide documentation for certain transactions. You can either sign for a credit transaction or enter a PIN for a debit transaction. It's not accepted at providers that are not recognized as a healthcare provider or merchant. Be sure to save all itemized provider or retail receipts, not the credit card or payment receipt. Save all insurance payer explanation of benefits or EOB. The card can be used at healthcare providers, but please note that some teaching hospitals, for example, may not be recognized as they code their terminals as educational. Be sure to always check your messages under your account at asiflex.com. So how it works is at point of sale or service, you present the card for payment. The provider or merchant will process the transaction. The card company reports to ASIFlex the provider and merchant name, the date of the transaction, and the dollar amount. ASIFlex reviews the transaction to determine if backup documentation is needed. Use of the card is not paperless. IRS regulations require backup documentation for certain transactions. So, how does ASIFlex notify me? We send up to 3 requests by email or text alert and posted to secure messages in your online account. So the initial notice is sent approximately 5 days following the transaction. A reminder notice is sent 21 days after the initial notice and advises the card may be inactivated. And the final notice is sent 21 days after the reminder notice and advises the card is temporarily deactivated. If documentation is not provided, IRS requires the card be temporarily deactivated. So to fix that, just upload the documentation and it will reactivate the card. If documentation is lost, you can pay the plan back or submit a substitute claim. How to submit documentation. ASIFlex will notify you if additional information is required, which you can submit online via the mobile app, by fax or mail. And the IRS requires documentation for all transactions except if the transaction is for copays that match the employer plan that you are enrolled in, identified recurring expenses to the same provider for the same amount each month, for example, orthodontia, and transactions at certified merchants who maintain an inventory system of eligible items like retail stores, drugstores, and pharmacies. All other expenses for copays under other plans and any medical, dental, and vision will require documentation. Here is a sample itemized statement of services. So you can see at the top is the provider name, then the date of service, a description of the service, the dollar amount, and then the patient name. This is a sample Walmart over-the-counter itemized merchant receipt. And if they have their inventory coded appropriately, you can see the highlighted portion at the bottom. They break down what is FSA eligible. This is a sample Walgreens receipt. Same thing. They bought other things such as Dawn and Hershey's that is not eligible, of course, but the Carmex that they purchased is. So that also is broken down at the bottom and saying that the total FSA eligible items are $2.66. Now, if you log in online at asiflex.com, this is a sample account statement. And in that far column, follow-up documentation required, where it says yes, it will be highlighted as such as well. So you'll be able to see right there, that's where you would click to follow the prompts to upload documentation. That way you don't have to worry about trying to figure out or guess where to go to upload. The FSA store cardless pay that I mentioned is where payments to the FSA store can be made directly from your healthcare FSA. So you sign in at asiflex.com, click on the FSA store link to shop, select all your products, and proceed to checkout. For the payment option, you would choose ASI Flex, and that's it. ASIFlex will pay the FSA store from your account and your products will be shipped to you. And I've actually used this process. It's very easy, and I actually got my items pretty quickly. The recurring direct pay, you would also sign into your account at asiflex.com. Under Participant Services, click on Schedule a Recurring Direct Payment. Select the plan year. It does have to be the current plan year. Select Dependent Care as the provider type. Select the participating provider that you wish to authorize for direct payment from your FSA. And schedule your recurring direct payment and hit Submit. ASIFlex will reach out to the provider for approval on the selected payment schedule. Go green to get your information instantly and because we love the earth. So you can sign up for email and text alerts to avoid paper and delayed mail. You can sign up for reimbursements made directly to your bank account to avoid paper checks, delayed mail, and trips to the bank. Submit claims via the mobile app or online. It's easy, quick, and results in rapid payments. And then the dependent care participants can utilize the recurring direct pay to automatically pay your daycare providers. And last but not least, ASIFlex customer service. So we have a wealth of information on our website. You can contact our customer service team by email at asi@asiflex.com. You can call, there's no automated system, which is my personal favorite, at 800-659-3035. TTY users can dial 711. For mailing, P.O. Box 6044, Columbia, Missouri 65203, and then our hours of operation as well. Please note that is Central Time, but on our website, we do have it broken down in the different time zones. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Laura. I have a question for you. And just to let everybody know, this ASIFlex customer service information is also on our website, on your benefits microsite. Under other benefits, you'll see that we have an ASIFlex file, and you can just click that and see the customer service. But Laura, I have a quick question on the recurring direct payment. If someone inadvertently kind of underestimates their takeout amount, their pre-tax dollars, I just want to highlight that because it is a benefit to have ASIFlex dollars are taken out before taxes. But what happens if they've kind of underestimated what they're spending for the year and there's not enough funds in their ASIFlex account, dependent care account, and they have a recurring payment?
Yes. So typically, $5,000 is usually, there's hardly any amount that's enough to cover dependent care. So what we would do is when you set up the recurring direct pay, you would also authorize your bank to be debited for the difference. So for example, the dependent care dollars are available as contributed. So if the payment each time was, let's just say $300 and the contributions are only $200, that other $100 would come from the bank account that's designated when the agreement is set up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. That's great. I'm going to go with you too, Laura. I use the online store and it's great. I love it.
Yes.
So just to let employees know, this ASIFlex option is just, again, it's pre-tax dollars that you're having taken out, and it's really a wonderful service to plan for co-pays or any other, like, the glasses, contacts, expenses like that, but also the over-the-counter expenses, which can all be taken care of on the store. I find this is just one of the most underutilized but best benefits that we offer. So every year we're just trying to make sure more employees are aware of it and make sure that you utilize it because their customer service is outstanding. They're extremely responsive. Turnaround is usually 2 to 3 days. It's really a wonderful benefit. So I want to thank you, Laura, for presenting today. And thank you all for your time and attention. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to ASIFlex customer service, or you can reach out to employee.benefits@aps.edu. That information is also in the description with this video. So thank you so much, everyone. And with that, we will just stop recording very quickly. Thank you all.